Okay, it's time. Third Saturday in October. Jimmy and I are going to give our predictions. You're going to have to let us know what you think.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. I got me a new shirt, Jimmy. It's so new, I got my tag on it. For those who don't know,
it is absolutely incredible.
It should be you wearing the shirt, right?
Yeah,
Because
it should be me wearing the shirt. It is. It should be me. Something tells me it won't fit right.
That's true.
Thanks,
everybody,
sleep
for
shirt.
First listen. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And yeah, I'm going to wear this shirt very proudly. It literally just says you're on mute. I can't believe I found a shirt that just says you're on mute. It's like God sent it.
You found it? You didn't have it made?
No, I had found it made. I found it online.
Unbelievable.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Okay.
It would be like if I found a shirt that said "You're wrong about everything," and I wore that.
Jimmy, we're going to do this a little backwards than the itinerary right there on the right,
because
I think what I want to do is save the predictions for the players and predictions for the game and the rest of the SEC in segments 2 and 3. Right now, I want to do like a little potpourri. First of all, big shout out to Garrett with the Mountain Brook Fire Department. At least I think it was the Mountain Brook Fire Department. I didn't have the foresight to check it out last night. I come home, there's a fire truck outside of one of my neighbor's house. We go up, of course, to investigate because we're nosy. And turns out they had not a gas leak, but somebody had left a gas stove or something on and, smelled like gas. So they called the fire department. They come out and check it out. And I'm just sitting there talking to the neighbor, and Garrett, who seems like a great American, comes over and says, okay, you look familiar. You're on Locked On Bama, aren't you? And I said, yeah. I mean, I was kind of taken aback. It was so cool, and I appreciate his that. I told him I'd give him a shout out. So here's your shout out, Garrett. You're a great American, and I appreciate all your service and helping out my neighbors. And Jimmy, somebody said something to you too, right?
Oh, well, that was less formal. Certainly, yeah. Walking through a parking lot in Tuscaloosa, a random strip mall in Tuscaloosa, going in a store with my wife, and a fine gentleman rolled by in his car, sticking his head out, yelling at me, "Locked On Bama," and I felt very. It was great. It was great. It was absolutely great. It was
great. It's a little scary because here's the deal. It lets me know I can't be a jackass all the time. Like, I've got to be on guard.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if I had said something,
I appreciate being recognized. Just because I'm still, even though we've been doing this for years, me and you've been doing this for years, it still boggles my mind that people listen to this show. And thank you, but it's still almost. I don't know. I'm not being humble. I'm being like, wow, people listen to the show, because we would do it if 5 people listened, but we have a whole lot more than 5 listeners. So
we've done it when 5 people were listening.
We did.
So anyway,
we did.
One other thing, because I said that I got to be on guard all the time, because what if I just come out there and been my normal self and said something completely awkward, like, man, firemen are always so late to every response. And then he comes up to tell me that, he's like, that's one listener you don't have anymore. So I love firemen. I want to say that. I love all firemen.
Get there before the fire starts, and then you'll be doing something.
Okay. So a couple other things. This Sunday, look, for those of you who don't know, first of all, Philadelphia just signed Julio Jones. I love that. So now you got Jalen Hurts throwing to Julio and throwing to Devontae Smith, being blocked for by Landon Dickerson. And frankly, A.J. Brown, who we thought was going to go to Alabama at one time at least. And pretty incredible. I love that.
DeAndre Swift. Friday is a great day on this campus. I am being pulled in 1,000, the day before the third Saturday in October, right? So Friday afternoon, I got to choose between I would like to watch the Feinbaum show will be live down the street, and that's kind of a for the fans thing. So the Feinbaum show's going on. Alabama's playing softball. Alabama's got an intra-squad gymnastics meet that they do annually. That's kind of the first look at the gymnastics team. My wife loves that, and that would be fun to go to. So gymnastics, softball, Feinbaum. The first swimming meet, or the first home swimming meet, is going on Friday, and Alabama plays soccer. That's all Friday afternoon. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, of course, on the other side for Philadelphia, you got Miami, the game I just went to. You got Tua Tagovailoa, you got Jalen Waddle. Miami and Philadelphia Sunday night. You can't get it better than that. One other note, this weekend, my daughter is coming in today. She's bringing in her friend Aisha. She's Indian, and even though she was born in the States, I think both her parents came over from India. Super nice girl, just love her to death. And she's coming in today. And I'm taking her to her first football game of any description. That is the Alabama-Tennessee game.
And that's the first football game she's ever going to see in her life in person?
That's what I'm told. She hadn't been to any high school games.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Then a couple other just quick recruiting thoughts.
You know what she's going to say when she watches for her first few minutes? Why doesn't Alabama's quarterback run the ball?
Why don't they get a new left tackle, somebody to help chip block with the left tackle?
Why isn't the back staying? Why isn't the tight end chipping the end to help Proctor?
Okay, so recruiting-wise, Zion Grady out of the Troy area.
Yes.
He just picked up a crystal ball to Alabama, 25 guy, super high priority, borderline 5-star, if not a 5-star. And then Naheem Alford was one of the ones that was supposed to come in for a visit. He told your buddy and my buddy, Andrew Bone, that he would be in for a visit, but he's changed his plans. It was going to originally be Ohio State, then Alabama. Now he's going to Auburn. Hey, so be it. Like Andrew Bone said, call a spade here. Is good news for Auburn. It doesn't necessarily mean bad news for Alabama. He's supposed to be back for LSU. But, certainly we would rather have him be on campus.
One thing I want people to realize, and I don't know exactly what happened in Alford's situation, but one thing people need to realize is, you can't assume the way you live your life is the way a lot of other people live their lives. These kids, a lot of these kids, not all of them, but a lot of these kids are highly dependent on rides. They don't have their own vehicle or their own parents who can take them. They a lot of times they're dependent on their high school coaches taking them on these unofficial visits. So many kids are dependent on that, right? So let's say your defensive coordinator from your school is going to take a few kids, and then you're like, hey, coach, can you take me to Tuscaloosa next weekend? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And then 3 other kids come to him and say, we got invitations to Auburn. Can you take us to Auburn? And he's like, hey, I got 3 kids that need to go to Auburn, 1 to Tuscaloosa. I'm going to go to Auburn because I got 3 kids asking me. So he tells the other kid, hey, I got to go to Auburn. And the kid's like, okay, cool, I'll go to Auburn. That happens all the time. That's not even isolated. A lot of these kids are just dependent on rides. And that's what changes. It's not like the kid all of a sudden goes, I'm going to go to Alabama. You know what? I like Auburn more. I'm going to go to Auburn. It's not. Sometimes it's that. But a lot of times it's not. So don't assume too much when you hear of something like that happening.
Jimmy, when we come back, we're going to get into some predictions for what we think the players are going to do this weekend, meaning the Alabama players, over under on their statistics and things like that. But right now, I want to tell everybody about something that's very important, and that's BetterHelp. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, just an absolutely fantastic resource here. Look, if you've been like me, and it's maybe for a long part of your life, which was with me, and you try to lay down, you think you're going to sleep, and your body's exhausted, but your brain is going a mile a minute. Just going nuts. And you're thinking about all the stress in your life. You're thinking about everything that's wrong. You're thinking about something that happened to you in the 3rd grade. I can't tell you how many times I've had just these bad thoughts about something that happened to me many, many moons ago that doesn't affect anything right now, but it just pops into your head like, hey, you think you're going to take a rest? Nope, I'm not going to let that happen. Normal stuff. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It means you might just need better help. You might need help. And BetterHelp is a fantastic resource when you feel like your brain is getting in its own way. I have benefited from therapy. I've benefited from medicine. It has helped me a ton. I'm not embarrassed at all to talk about it ever because I think it's so important. So visit betterhelp.com/lockedoncollege today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedoncollege. Look, you want to make your brain your friend again. And I'm telling you, you can be your own worst enemy sometimes. And it's a super idea to reach out and talk to somebody about this. Go to betterhelp.com/lockedoncollege. Also want to tell you about right now, FanDuel. Love FanDuel. You know we love FanDuel. Everybody loves FanDuel. It's hard to beat FanDuel. You can beat an egg. You can beat a bush. You can't beat FanDuel. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets whether you win or whether you lose or whether you're on mute, whatever it is. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, which we're going to do next, over-unders, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedoncollege and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel.com is an official partner of the NFL. All right, Jimmy, I did a crossover episode yesterday with Chris Gordy from Locked On SEC and Eric Kane from Locked On Vols. And it's been kind of funny because, I thought I was being pretty doggone respectful, to be quite honest with you. And I said something, you and I have made a big deal out of the fact that Milroe hadn't started that many games. And I said, Joe Milton is more experienced than Jalen Milroe. And I had so many people in the comments on the Locked On Vols section say, that's Bama math. Alabama's actually played more games than Tennessee this year. I'm like, yeah, but Jalen Milroe didn't play one of those games. And Milton started in seasons prior. Wasn't Milton the starter before Hendon Hooker? I seem to remember Milton.
He has started games at Tennessee in the past. He also started games at Michigan.
Yeah, so, he has definitely started more games. That was my point.
To me, it's just career pass attempts. Milton, way more career pass attempts than Milroe. How else would you define experience other than career pass attempts, right?
Yeah.
It's not just starts. In my mind, it's career pass attempts. And I don't have that number in front of me. I can just promise anyone that's listening, Milton has many, many more than Milroe. Milroe is the least experienced starting quarterback in the SEC. The one closest to Milroe in terms of the least experienced is Carson Beck. Keep in mind, even more importantly in all of this, Jalen Milroe's in year 3, Carson Beck is in year 4, Joe Milton is in year 6. So the guy's 25 years old.
Anyway, it makes a big difference. And people just don't seem to get it, but that's okay. So I guess I'm going to ask this. Do you think who has more passing yards, Milroe or Milton? And I'm going to say this:
this season,
Milton is plus 40 yards. So that's my spread. I'm making this spread up out of thin air. FanDuel, if you're listening, you want to put it out there, go for it. But I'm saying you can have Milton plus 40 yards or Milroe minus 40 yards. Who has more? Dead silence is bad for audio, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. I guess I must think faster if I want to be live. Well, we record live. I'm going to say Milroe, even with minus 40. But boy, but my silence indicated I gave that a lot of thought. I'm not sure. I think that, straight up Milroe. Minus 40, oof. All right. Not sure.
All right.
I'll say Milroe.
Who wins the rushing battle overall? Forget individual. Tennessee minus 25 yards.
Tennessee.
I agree. 25 is probably low. That's one of those I'd bet on early, and then the line would change that. Yeah.
Tennessee will outrush Alabama by about the same amount of yards. Milroe outthrows Milton.
That's fair.
That seems right to me. As in just picking out numbers. Tennessee rushes for 160. Alabama rushes for 120. Milton throws for 240. Milroe throws for 280, and it sort of balances out. And I think both teams have roughly the same amount of offense in this game. I really do.
Okay. So how about over under catches for Amari Niblack? 3.5. 3.5.
Saw Amari Niblack this morning on my walk across campus, by the way.
Did you speak to him?
No, I never saw. I see players all over campus.
Did you go, hey, Locked On Bama?
Not once. Not once. Isn't that sad? Saw Dylan Lonergan yesterday. That was a first quarterback of the season. Amari Niblack, what did you say the over was on him? Did you say 4?
3.5.
Under.
I think you're right. I hate it. I think it should be over.
Yeah, I would love it to be over. I mean, that's the thing. We have so many talented skill position players. It would be nice to get them. You know who's got a great – Clint Lamb had this from BOL. Clint Lamb has this great story with these cool facts. And one of the facts was, you know who averages the most receptions per snaps played? In other words, the guy that's getting in the rotation that catches more balls than you would think despite the few snaps he plays is Kobe Prentice. And to me, it's like, it makes total sense. That dude is open he's constantly open. I would love to get Kobe the ball more. I would love to get Malik Benson more involved. I want to see Jalen Hale make big plays. And yeah, I want Niblack to catch about 8 balls. You add it all up, and I'm like, we need to be throwing it 50 times. And at the same time, I'm like, I want Justice to get more carries. I want Jam to get more carries, but I don't want to take any carries away from Jase. And so here I am, clearly with a poor grasp of mathematics.
Now, I'm with you on that. It feels like, in fact, earlier on our podcast, we were like, okay, some guys, reemerged like Kobe Prentice. And then like that afternoon, Clint Black put that – Clint Lamb. If Clint Black had put this stat out, that would have been big time news.
Little known fact, he does play guitar. Clint Lamb does play guitar.
Clint Black giving up country music altogether to cover Alabama statistics.
This killing time is killing me.
All right, I'm trying not to go on mute.
It's Clint Black. That's Clint Black.
Isn't that funny?
It's Clint Black.
Every time I bring somebody up, my phone rings.
It's Clint Black saying, "Hey, you owe me $1 for that killing timeline you just used."
All right. So when we come back, Jimmy, we're going to give our predictions for this game and maybe a couple of other games that are big. It's going to be a nice weekend of college football. Right now, I want to tell you about Birddogs. Look, y'all, I'm supposed to go off this live read. I understand that, but I want to tell you this instead. All right. So Birddogs sent me they've sent me some shorts, which I love. I wear them all the time. I tell you all the time. My wife says, "Hey, man, you're wearing these shorts too much." I'm like, "No, that's on you. I like them. It's my body. It's my choice. I will wear the shorts I want to wear." And then but they sent me a pair of joggers, right? And I got this funky body. I got this long. I'm 6'5", and I got this long torso and sort of relatively short legs for a dude my height. So I'm always like, man, none of that stuff ever fits me right. It's so hard for me to get. I put these mothers on, and I'm telling you, I love them. I wore them to go work out on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I wore them again yesterday to coach my daughter's soccer game. And it was like, I hate to say it was like wearing nothing at all, but it was kind of like wearing nothing at all. It would have been creepy, but it was like that. I'd say it felt that way. I didn't do that, but I'm telling you, y'all, please go try these things out. Look, Jimmy and I do not try and push you to stuff we don't use or don't believe in. These things are awesome. Jimmy wears them.
I wear them constantly.
These things make you look good. They make you feel good. You really need to go check out Birddogs. And I'm telling you, if you go check it out, go to birddogs.com/lockedoncollege or enter promo code LockedOnCollege at checkout. You'll get a free Birddogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/lockedoncollege for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take them off. I promise you. I never do. I wear them all the time. So go check out birddogs.com/lockedoncollege. Yeah, I went off the reservation there and to give that live read. But I think it's more important to tell people like how much I really like these things. So whatever.
You can wear them to church and you can wear them to bed.
Yeah. Or
good.
I could wear them while I'm thinking about I should be going to church. I hadn't been to church in a while. Last time I went to church, they threw water on me, so I hadn't been back. Anyway, it's an old joke.
Did you go to church or an exorcism?
It's a baptism.
Oh, okay.
Get it?
Get
it? So,
yeah.
All right, score predictions, Jimmy. Look,
Sure.
let me go ahead and give mine since it's already out there on the interwebs. This is a stupid one. I don't like it. If I'm only not changing it because I've already said it somewhere else, and like somebody would say something awful about me if I did. I'm going 1914 Alabama. And
1914.
That's a throwback to 2015 when Derrick Henry made a big time run.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley made some great catches to get us down the field. Jake Coker was a warrior that game. Derrick Henry specifically was. And then Ryan Anderson gets this fantastic sack. And I'll tell you what I remember about that game as much as anything. I don't remember the exact spread, but I know that it was double digits. And I know that my father had taken Alabama because we all thought Alabama was going to win big. All right, Derrick Henry gets Alabama up. Alabama gets a sack, if I remember right. Then they get another sack from Ryan Anderson, which causes, I think, was it Josh Dobbs? I think it was Josh Dobbs to fumble. And it is picked up by my cousin, Ashawn Robinson. And Ashawn starts running towards the end zone, but he can't really get out of the grasp of anybody. And he's about 5 yards short of the end zone. If he had scored, Alabama would have covered. Instead, Alabama kneels it, game over. Alabama wins, but they don't cover. And that's what we call terrible moments in gambling history. So, but I'm going 1914 Alabama. Jimmy, what you got?
Pretty similar. I don't have that specific, like, hey, it reminds me of this year, or this particular player is gonna make the difference. But I do think it's going to be very close. I think statistically, when the game is over, that's going to be close. I think Tennessee will rush for more yards than Alabama. I think Alabama will throw for more yards than Tennessee. I think they'll both make a couple of big plays, and I think both will stand out defensively. I got a few more points. I'm a little hesitant this score sounded good to me all week, and as we're getting closer, Luke, I'm worried that I've got too many points being scored by both teams. But I got Alabama winning the game 27-20, 7-point difference. And I don't know if at any point in the game this game will be, the teams will be separated by more than 7. I think it's going to be really tight. But in the end, Alabama wins the game because they have just more good players than Tennessee. And I think a big difference in this game, Luke, is Alabama's defense. It ends up being the best unit on the field is Alabama's defense. But the same old issues. I'm predicting the same issues we've seen. Alabama will have a difficult time getting Tennessee blocked. The pass rush, they'll be sacked. Milroe will be sacked. The pass rush will be difficult to deal with. Alabama won't run the ball well enough, to control the game. But in the end, Jalen Milroe makes enough plays with his arm to Alabama's talented receiving core that they win the game 27-20.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Alabama's defense is the better defense. And that was something else that a Tennessee fan sort of got on to me about. They were like, Tennessee's got a couple of guys better than Dallas Turner. I'm like, Dallas Turner was just named AP midseason All-American, ESPN midseason All-American, and CBS All-American.
Statistically, he has outperformed both Pierce and Barron, their best pass rushers. Statistically, he's outperformed them while playing the nation's 10th toughest schedule, while Tennessee has played the 88th schedule. So Dallas is putting up better numbers against better teams. And again, that's not me going, Alabama's great, Tennessee's bad. I'm just saying that's the case for why Dallas would be ahead of them. That's why Dallas is ahead of those guys when it comes to things like All-American teams and all SEC type things. But that's not to sell the Tennessee Vols short. They got some dudes. Pierce is good. Barron's good. Beasley's a good player. They got some good DBs. And they certainly have players on offense that are scary. And I think Milton's scary. But in the end, one of the reasons I'm picking Alabama to win the game is even though their guys in year 6 and our guys in year 3, I think Jalen Milroe is a better player than Joe Milton.
I think Milroe also is a wee bit more accurate.
Yeah, I think so.
And even though we've been sort of down on our receivers this year, I think Alabama's got a better receiving core this year.
Particularly with Brew McCoy out, I think that was a real game changer. And Tennessee's got good receivers, and they're an ascending good program. How about this? Alabama will beat Tennessee 27-20, but later in the year, I've got Tennessee beating Georgia and Knoxville.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about that for you Tennessee fans that are
predictions for that week, Goober?
Yeah. How about you Tennessee fans, pinning their hate they're poison letters to me and you. I got Tennessee beating Georgia. I've kind of said it all year, but I feel more adamant than ever that's going to prove to be true.
That's going to be something we'll deal with later on. But until then, Jimmy, we will have a podcast after the game. You and I are both going to the game, so somebody's going to do the press conference link through the game, but we're going to have a podcast, but it'll be later. So because I got to get back to Birmingham and all that. But anyway, until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.